Hello everyone, welcome to this video about a great tune called Nardis. And Nardis is a composition by Miles Davis and got pretty famous because of one of his piano players, Bill Evans, who of course became very famous himself, but this tune is an iconic tune from his repertoire. And I think this tune should be played more often, also in gypsy jazz. And I guess the reason why it's not played a lot is because the chord progression seems kind of odd, and a lot of people have trouble soloing over it. And recently I was talking about this tune in my Discord, and my Discord is connected to my books. And if you have one of my books, you get access to a channel in my Discord where I stream, and only people that have my book can watch it, but I talk about tunes, I talk about questions that people have about my books, and there's literally dozens of streams, and I always provide tab and Guitar Pro 8 files to practice stuff I show in that stream. And on a recent stream, I was talking about Nardis and how to approach soloing over it. So that stream is already in my Discord, but I didn't talk really about how to play the theme. And then somebody asked me, could you also show how to play the theme? And I thought it was a very good idea. So I made some tab in Guitar Pro 8 to practice playing the theme with. I'm going to show you today how to play the theme. I'm not going to talk about soloing. I've already done that in that stream. If you want to have access to that, then if you have one of my books, just join my Discord and you can see that stream. If you want any of the tab that you see today on the screen, there's two ways to get it. You can either get it on my Patreon, where I will upload both PDF and Guitar Pro 8 format, or of course you can get it in my Discord if you have a book of mine. So let's start with the first 4 bars of the theme. If you play this theme, you need some chords in between the phrases. That's also the way that Bill Evans played it, and most people. So I chose for some chords that really fit the mood of this tune, which is kind of a modal tune. To be precise, would be E Lydian. So I chose chord voicings that convey a modal mood. To start, octaves, but then I chose this voicing for E minor, which is a chordal voicing, and this voicing for F major 7. And this is F major 7 sharp 11, because there's a B in it and an E. Usually when you have a major 7 chord that is not on the first degree, so this tune is not an F, so this F major 7 is not the 1, then adding a sharp 11 is usually a good choice. So in this case, it works. And then we have the second phrase, and I chose for B7 this octatonic chord. And octatonic means I add 2 notes, the flat 9 and the normal 13, and then back to this voicing, and you might think, hey, isn't that the same as E minor? It is, although I also play the high E string now. This voicing you can use both for E minor and C major 7. It's just the way chordal voicings work. A lot of the time you can play them on multiple chords. And I played to A minor. I anticipate with a half step. Now, it's very important that you play the correct rhythms. There are several ways to practice that. You can practice with a metronome. It would be very smart. But if you have Guitar Pro 8, then practicing with the Guitar Pro 8 file is really great. Why? Because you can just stand in the first bar and press play, and you can hear it being played. It's MIDI, but rhythmically it's very precise. And I synced it with the backing track. So you can practice in multiple ways. Now you could slow down the tempo, for instance. You could go to, let's say you want to practice at 70%. And then you press play and you play along with the MIDI. And now you can even choose to just have the MIDI. Let's say you don't want the backing track for now. It's outside of the screen, but below I have a little mixer and it says solo, which is the melody, and it says the audio track, which is the backing. And I will just turn the backing track off. And now it does have the MIDI here, and I'll turn on the click. And I could play along with the click and the MIDI. So that's a very good way to check if you're playing the correct rhythms and the correct notes. And if you're not ready to play it on your own, you could turn off the MIDI and just turn on the backing track and play it at 70%. Just with the backing track. It's a great way to practice, so I really recommend Guitar Pro 8, and I provide everything I produce, so all my books, all my mini courses, and all the stuff I make in the Discord with Guitar Pro 8 files. I started doing that about a year ago, so everything before that is not Guitar Pro 8, but everything since then it is. Now let's move on to the second system. Again, a couple of nice chords and double stops, A minor 7, 9, and then F major 7, and then this really very Lydian sounding. So the original melody is of course the top note, and I just added these double stops. I think I stole this from someone else, I don't remember who. And ending on this just fifths. I know the chord there says E minor 7, but it's much nicer to just play fifth. It sounds more modal. If you start doing something like it sounds a little bit too plain, I think, if you just play a minor triad. So sounds more mysterious. And now you have the whole theme for the A part, because the second A is the same. Let's play the whole thing with the backing track. Let's just play it at 100%. I'll play 2 A's. And then it's time for the bridge. And we have some more really nice voicings. A minor 7, 9, we already had that. And then this voicing for F major 7, again with a sharp 11. That's a note in the melody even. So twice. With some melody notes in between. That's a C major 7 arpeggio. Make sure that you swing those notes. So you get 1, 2, so long, short, da, right? Don't play them straight, don't play. You could do that, but I think, especially with this backing track, but also, by the way, in the original Bill Evans recording, it's really a swing tune. Even though it's a modal tune, it's still swinging. So, also notice that the second chord is on beat 4. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next system. More modal sounding voicings. We have this voicing. Normally for D minor you would think maybe D minor 9, and that also works. But this, you add the 13, and to keep like the shape of the fingers, 2 strings on the one finger, here and here. It's basically all notes from the C major scale, just shifting parallel. That's a very modal thing to do. Even though right here we're on a 2, 5, 1, 2, C. So this is the part of the song where it's not really modal anymore. It's very functional, right? 2, 5, 1. But now we keep that sound. And here we play something not so modal anymore. G7, flat 9, 13. So again, it's octatonic like we had before. Diminished. Now this beautiful voicing. C major 7, but there's also 9 in it. And then to this voicing for F major 7, sharp 11. So we have a couple of sharp 11 voicings for F. We have this one, we have this one, and we have this one. And then you have the complete theme. So now we can play the complete theme. So let me play that with a backing track. And I have a backing track here with chord diagrams. We could really talk about that really quickly, because if you play rhythm for this tune, you should play kind of specific voicings to keep the sound. So I wrote down what I play. So I play E minor 7, like this is E minor 7, 9. I think it kind of fits on the first chord, but you have to be careful with that 9. And then for F major 7, I play only 4 notes. I don't want to hear that 9 too loud. If you want to put the 9, you could do it, but maybe keep it lowest for strings. Then B7, C major 7, A minor 7, that's normal. And then again, F major 7, E major 7, E minor. And here I choose E minor with the G on top to make it more Lydian. Because if you play it F sharp, it's not very Lydian anymore. I like it for the first chord also to make a difference between that last chord and the first chord of the A. Because otherwise you stay on E minor and it can get a little confusing. So now it will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, second A. And then the bridge, it's the same voicings. A minor, F major 7, repeat. Now 2, 5, 1, you know how to play that. D minor 7, G7, C major 7, F major 7, and then we're back to the A part. So the bridge will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back to the A part. Let's play this tune. If you want to know what I'm thinking about when soloing, because I'm not really thinking about these chords. I have my own chord progression, makes it much easier to solo over. Makes it also much closer to what I'm used to. I'm used to playing on functional progressions in normal jazz standards. But there is a way to convert this tune to a progression like that. It's usually possible with any tune, but also with this tune, even though a lot of people don't realize that it's possible, so they struggle with it. If you want to know more about it, there's a live stream in my Discord. And even if you don't have a book, you could join my Discord. There's many guitar players there, and there's a whole section of it where people are just talking about jazz guitar, and you don't need a book for that. Again, if you want the tab for this or the Guitar Pro 8 file, then you can get that either on my Patreon or in my Discord, and I will see you all in the next video.